Hello everyone, welcome back to Neffy Cat. We're so glad that you can join us today. Today I want to talk about an important topic that ruled my life for a very, very long time, and that is suffering from the poverty mindset. Think of poverty like this bowl of water. We sometimes treat finances and money like people do water in a desert. Versus this bowl where the water is abundance, and that's representing a part of the world where there's tons of water, like where I live now. Very gratefully. There are 13 things in this video I want to talk about that the poverty mindset encases, because these are a cause of poor choices that lead to even more poverty. One of the things you're going to notice about the poorest people is that they tend to treat money like it's something that's made out of luck. They think that in order to get a big sum of money, they have to do something like randomly invest or trade, not invest, randomly buy lottery tickets, and that somehow this is going to eventually give them good luck and pay off big. And they're taught to believe that that's where big money comes from, instead of from intelligent strategy and working smart. The concept that you'll see as well with this is the idea that you have to chase the money. That money can only come from super hard, grueling work. And even to the point that people will work very, very hard but not smart. They won't respect their hard work with smart work. That's a really big deal. And I'm bringing these up for discussion because of how much I suffered from these my entire adult life up until these recent years. And I want to share that with some of you so that you stand a chance to have a better path. And you can create a different future just like I am for my life now. Yes, and this little one's life as well. It helps him, it helps you, it helps your loved ones to change the way that you think. And before I go forward, I want to point out that a lot of times a poverty mindset is based from the ways that we were taught. A lot of times, you know, in my family's case, we had some very, very large struggles with poverty in the past several generations of us. And a lot of us have had to overcome that. You've heard the saying, you know, that the child must overcome the things that the parents didn't. Well, that's very true in regards to mindset. But you can't overcome poverty until you change that mindset. Money doesn't have to be thought of like a desert that has scarce little teeny bits of water, just like people have teeny bits of money. A third thing, this is very much common too, is a person becomes a victim of victimized thinking. Thinking that the society's to blame, or even in the stock market, sometimes the hedge fund dudes are only to blame and not ourselves in our lack of poor strategy. Feeling victimized, or so-and-so always did such and such, or always does such and such, and then not learning from their mistakes and moving forward. My grandmother years ago taught me something very valuable when she said that when you learn how to learn from others' mistakes, then you don't have to make those mistakes yourself. You can have a different path by making different choices. Yes, you can. You do not have to live in the old poverty mindset. Another part that goes along, this is point number 4, something that goes along with being a victim is blaming everybody else, blaming others, instead of looking at your part of things and learning from yourself, and again from their mistakes too. If you learn from their mistakes, you don't have to repeat it. And so instead of blaming somebody else, learn how to protect against that trait. In my past, I studied martial arts because of some of the difficulties I had experienced. And it really, 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 really helped me. It really saved me. And somebody here is absolutely restless. He hears all this big wind and is deciding that he wants to check this bigger world out. That's better than being a victim, isn't it? And it's better than blaming others, isn't it? So self-deception, number 5. That is something that I was also a prey to. I would deceive myself into thinking that I was doing better financially than I was when I wasn't even looking at my money. I did not even have any financial education. I didn't have any financial statements. I was barely managing to do something like filling my taxes out every year. I had myself deceived into believing that my money was better than it is. Somebody keeps trying to dash, and this mommy has to keep him relatively stable. Yes. And then with that, a lot of us learn how to live comfortably uncomfortable. So I want you to think about that phrase for a minute. Comfortably uncomfortable. We settle in our lives and we stop moving forward because we think that we're so comfortable with the way that things are. Well, what if this little guy never took any more steps in his life? What if he didn't play? What if he just became comfortably uncomfortable, never looking at life, never exploring the world of the house or the world of the bedroom, and just staying in one spot? It wouldn't be good for him, and it's not good for you either. Being comfortable is a good thing, I suppose, yes, but comfortably uncomfortable. I'm going to give an example of this one. I worked for a lot of years doing cleaning and janitorial work. In real life, I was absolutely miserable. I hated and detested it with all of my soul. But I became comfortably uncomfortable. I decided, that's just the way that it is. That's just what money is like. Oh, I have a loud car here that's scaring him. And so I stopped myself and I became comfortably uncomfortable. It was a very, very poor choice on my part, and it caused me to be stagnant for a lot of years. And which, that's somebody climbed up into my arms. That is something that happened. That is point number 6, is that I stagnated in my life instead of growing. Oh, yes, some of you might hear this wind, and this wind is startling him. Yes, it keeps him from being stagnant today, huh? But when you let yourself just stagnate in life, you stop growing. You'll find yourself not so happy. Life won't feel fresh. Life won't feel vibrant. You'll stop trying, and you'll get depressed. Oh, he wants back up in mommy's arms. I used to be afraid of risk instead of using calculated risk. When you're learning how to walk and you're a little toddler, you use risk. You have to get up. You've got to get from crawling, and you get yourself standing up. You might hear his little bell. I was afraid of risk. I wanted security instead of risk. And what I did not know is that the very things that I thought were making me secure was the most risky of all. Having and keeping low-paying work for so many years, that was far more risky to my well-being than stretching out like I could have done and creating a different path. I had an idea, for example, of a cleaning tool that would be really good, but I was afraid, and so I chose to barely get money, and I ended up with poverty. Point number 9 is that I used excuses instead of moving forward. I used excuses and kept myself comfortably uncomfortable instead of moving forward. And somebody wants his mommy. Oh my. It's an important thing that you have to check with yourself, and that is where self-deception comes into mind. One of the things that I used to do, which is point number 10, that is very harmful if it's overdone or done wrongly, is that I used escapism to avoid how uncomfortable I was. I would come home and get into the movie or whatever it was, and I didn't do anything else with my life. That was very, very bad for me. And it ended up really hurting me. Escapism, when I say that, it is not bad to enjoy things. It is not bad. In fact, it's important to enjoy things. I love video games, for example. It's not bad to enjoy video games, but when I was using them to escape the things that were making me unhappy, instead of moving forward with my life and addressing them, I was hurting myself. Another thing that you'll see in that mindset is a lack of self-confidence, and especially as those types of attitudes that I've been talking about are carried on. It'll make us feel scared to try, it'll make us feel scared to move forward, and we might lack the self-confidence. So I had a lack of self-confidence that I've really had to work on. I'm still working on it, to be very honest with you. I also had a lack of determination and persistence because I didn't have confidence that I could make a better life. I didn't have confidence that society would be kind or nice to me. I thought it would rail all over the top of me. I really, really struggled with that one. The lack of determination and persistence made me give up sometimes when I needed to continue forward and I needed just to plot better learning paths. It was a big deal. Hi. Oh. And then with that in mind, here he comes right back up. I had procrastination instead of moving forward, and self-respected time off. You do need your time off. Just like he needs the ability to come up into my arms when he feels insecure about the wind and is feeling cold. He's even a little bit shivery. I would end up procrastinating. Through escapism is one of my routes. There may be other things, that you can look at in your life. A lack of looking at yourself is a part of what creates and continues that poverty mindset. You do need time off in your life. Respect yourself enough to create that, instead of using procrastination as a way to rest. I did that in my past, and it really did only hurt me. 13th point, self-honesty. A lot of times people that do not have a wealth mindset and that live in a poverty mindset aren't honest with themselves. They'll tell themselves things like I was talking about. This goes kind of almost into self-deception, but they'll tell themselves things like, oh, I'm going to win that lottery, or, oh, a little voice is talking. Yes, or I can't make it no matter what. That was another one that I had trouble with. I wanted to share all this with you today, though, because the mindset that you approach life with really does matter. And remember that a lot of this is taught to us from our childhood. We don't always learn how to think about where did we learn how to think the way we do from. Where did that come from? That's important for you to think about. And today, I encourage you to look at yourself and to reflect. You might even like to write about this and to reflect on ways that you have hurt yourself and ways that you've had the poverty mindset, because you can overcome it. And I want to give that message of encouragement to all of you today too. There is hope. There is goodness. If you like the content, I'm going to try for this. We're going to see how this works. Oh my, if you like the content of our videos, I'll try again. If you like the content of our videos, don't forget to take those pause and press that like button and press the subscribe button so you can see all of his videos, even though right now he is in his mommy's arms and he's one cold little guy. Yes, thank you all so very much for being here with us today. Thank you. Oh, there we are. Thank you, little guy. Everyone have a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.